Tonight, buckets of fun on Fandoms Season 4, Episode 3.
This here's Lenore Zan, and you're watching Fandoms.
And welcome to Fandoms, the show from every fan's point of view. Before I bring Will on, I'm just going to go ahead and go through our rigmarole of things to be looking out for within Nerd Initiative. So be sure, first of all, to check out our website, which is also streaming on the homepage right now. That is, of course, nerdinitiative.com. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know what's going on everywhere else. And if you like stuff like this, be sure to check out our merch store. You'll be able to find those things there, and we'll absolutely love you for it. It helps keep the lights on. Then, of course, with the comic books, which is a lot of what we do, be sure to check out Wednesdays, comic book review day, new comic book day. The bullpen just knocks it out of the ballpark every week with different reviews of all the comics from multiple publishers. And with that said, let's go ahead and get Will back on. Will, welcome.
Back on?
I put you on before everybody saw, and then I took you off, and I felt
okay.
like I was kind of sliding you, and I'm sorry about that.
You know what? Slide away.
Okay. But before we get into talking about what we're going to be talking about tonight, because obviously when it comes to, let's just say everything. Oh no, why is my stuff? Let's see if it shows up. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Everything just decided. Let's see. Can you see this? There we go.
I see
so on one of my screens, everything doesn't show up, which I don't know why, which is the one I'm actually controlling it from. It looks like a bunch of blank squares, but we've got lots of popcorn buckets that we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and just talk about a couple of things. Something that we mentioned on Wednesday on the Deadpool 2 review for the Road to Deadpool and Wolverine, and something that I was very excited about. In fact, you know what the problem is? It's not showing. I think someone made it. Oh no, it got moved down. Here we go. Of course, we need to talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine Xbox sweepstakes that's going on. Be sure, if you have not checked it out, to go do that, because you'll definitely want that cheeky controller. I can just tell you right now. And of course, there's also the Heinz ketchup bottles that will be coming out. It sounds like it may be a giveaway as well. I don't know. I really wish that they would just make a limited supply that goes in the stores, and it would just be like, okay, just go have at it. And then, I can, try my luck that way, because let me be very honest with you. I have a box over here. You can't see it on the screen. I am very proud of my season 2 Loki Charms box. That is one of the most, did you just squint at me?
I was always after me Loki Charms.
I love me Loki Charms. They're mischievously delicious. But regardless, so be sure to check that out. Will, I know I texted you, and sometimes I know when I'm texting you while you're at work, you don't respond, because for whatever reason, whenever I look at your text message, because we have iPhones, everything tells me that was delivered quietly, because Will has, wants to make sure that he's not being disturbed while he's doing something vastly important. But I sent information. I talked about this on TikTok, how Disney is kind of on the ropes right now, because one of their employees downloaded something from GitHub, or it was convinced to download something from GitHub, which in essence, GitHub is not necessarily a bad thing, but this one download was, because whatever it did, it allowed some hackers to have access to Slack messages across the board regarding almost every production company, and then some, including video games, with Disney. And so for those of you who are trying to avoid spoilers from Deadpool and Wolverine or anything else,
now I see where you're going.
Agatha all along, I'm talking about everything, be very, very careful. And then I know a lot of people are on social media blackout, but there was a final Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that came out tonight, or came out today. And if you are not wanting to be spoiled by something, do not watch it.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Did you ever? Oh, I can't remember what the.
Did you say Kevin Smith? Or you meant Kevin Feige, right?
No, I meant Kevin Smith because look, I don't normally talk about this. For those that may not know, I also perform some duties and help and assistance in the world of Kevin Smith, and he tweeted something out earlier because he's promoting a watch along at his theater in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, Smodcastle Cinemas. And so I believe that final trailer was released. So, and I get notification every time he tweets something in case it's related to some work I have to do. And so I wasn't thinking, and I'm like, oh, okay, we got a notification. What is it? And then it just starts auto playing, and I'm like, haha, there we go. I'm not going to say what I'm talking about, but I am putting even money on right now. Probably the one thing in that trailer that most people are speculating about. I'm saying right now that character is being played by Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I can say this much. You probably, if you saw my TikTok video earlier, I won't give any spoilers, and just don't read the chat at all because I can't delete chat messages at the moment. So there was something that was put out there, but we did get a full body view of Lady Deadpool, but it's wearing the mask, so we're good. So we don't know for sure who it is. They didn't tease that. It was just something else.
I'm still convinced it's Ryan Reynolds. That's it.
I think it would be. I think it'd be pretty funny if it was Ryan Reynolds.
By the way, yeah. I'm really disappointed. Last night, in case you guys also didn't catch it, we talked a little bit about this stuff on Netheads last night, which is my podcast that Tony's nice enough to sit on. What the hell? But I didn't get to. I wore a Disneyland shirt because a lot of the theme was the fact that I just got back from Disneyland vacation. But I really wish I had worn this shirt that my wife got for me on Etsy. I don't know if you can make it out. It's R2-D2 wearing mouse ears, holding a balloon. And if you look very carefully in the mouse ears balloon in the middle is Grogu. It's just one of my favorite shirts. And I'm like, I'm just going to wear this all the time. And I'm not going to even explain myself anymore.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. There's a company that goes around the conventions. And I almost wore that shirt tonight just because I rediscovered it in my closet and I'm kind of wanting to start wearing it more. Mainly like tonight I'm wearing anime. I mainly wear Marvel. I have 90% of the clothes that I have. It's something Marvel related. But I found a t-shirt that I got at a convention. The vendor is called, I think, Tea Turtle.
Ooh, I've heard that one.
And they had a lot of Disney, Star Wars, Marvel stuff. My wife has a thing of like a kitty looking Loki, like skipping through the rainbow bridge. And it says chaos and destruction. And then my favorite was there's one of Obi-Wan standing on a footstool, standing above Anakin. And it just says, "It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground." And so I've been kind of reincorporating that into my wardrobe more. But it's one of those things where it's like, do I not? But
I feel like that was also a Robot Chicken skit where it was something like a ladder or something, and Obi-Wan was just relishing, haha, portable high ground.
So yeah, I mean, it's been forever since I've watched those Star Wars Robot Chickens.
Yeah, me too.
But so we had that the trailer, the leak. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really wanted to talk about before we go. I think unless somebody in the chat thinks of something, I'm going to get ready to go ahead and just jump into our topic tonight, so people don't feel like, yes, Z, you did. Well, I see it, but it could just be because I'm an administrator. I don't feel like I want to waste more time. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this.
All right.
So let me go ahead and pull up this right now. We're talking about popcorn buckets tonight.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps you're of the persuasion, and I remember I was, where popcorn buckets, like special popcorn buckets, were literally the cardboard buckets that just had images on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact,
branded bucket.
Let me just explain how and then why we get to this point. Because not only do I have all of these behind me,
yeah,
but I still hold on to special cardboard
Oh,
promotional stuff when I
that's
see it.
cool.
So like that, of course, then there was also the Burger King Spider-Man Across the Spider-Man cup. I absolutely had to have this. And also just because I'm weird, when Burger King came out, I had to do the Cross Spider-Verse crown, which normally sits on my Funko Pop Galactus.
Okay, that is cool.
But this
I gotta
one is
admit.
deep. Like, I'll be honest with you.
I want you to lie to me, Tony. Lie to me.
I even have my kids' Eternals Happy Meal box and Guardians of the Galaxy.
That is definitely one. The Eternals one will definitely be a collector's item, because collector's items are only collector's items when they're a rarity, and I'm sure you're one of the few people that's saving that one.
And it's sad because I even have a Spider-Man Far From Home Papa John's box.
That's not sad. That just meant you
And
got to have.
I've also
now wait. Did you when you have something like that? Does that mean you ordered the pizza from Papa John's, or did you go to Papa John's, order a pizza, and say, "Can you please put it in a regular box so I can have this one pristine"?
Okay, so my Civil War pizza boxes,
yeah,
I bought them, and then after the fact, I realized I really should keep the box. So they have I had to clean them out, but there's still a little bit of stains on the inside.
Yeah.
This one though, my wife was amazing enough to, when she went to the store, she got it and it's unmarked.
Very
so
nice.
This is a very clean box.
Yes, because there's nothing men appreciate more than a really clean box.
Moving on. So so that was kind of what was back in the day, and then of course then we started getting into the tins,
right?
We you talked about this yesterday because we both mutually, I think, have this tin,
that exact one. That's it.
And absolutely love this. This is the Avengers Endgame tin that you would get, and I believe this was at AMC. It even says it on the bottom, and this is what par for the course of what collectors tins were. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I collect these boxes and stuff now, I was never so obsessed with wanting to collect these. These were more convenient because the size was like standard, so you could kind of stack them in themselves.
You can also put other stuff in them if you wanted to. You know what I mean?
This held my Marvel Christmas hat, and it oftentimes would hold different things, and I would use them for whatever. But now we're to the point where these popcorn buckets have to do something with the film, or they have to look like a prop, which feeds into something with me. And we're both makers. We both have 3D printers, and sometimes having a scale, a 1-to-1 scale replica of something is very, very fun
and convenient and easy to do.
Exactly. And I had to retire my 3D printed Thor's hammer because after almost putting a hole in my ceiling when it disconnected from the handle, I decided it just needs to be a display piece and be off to the side.
Yeah.
But these popcorn buckets do fill a need when it comes to something special, unique, and different. Now, when these first came out, when you first had the Doctor Strange and you had the Love and Thunder, they did run out rather quickly at first, and then they produced them to be more available. I don't think they did a rerun of the Doctor Strange buckets, but they did do a rerun of these because these were available online, and you could get them like months after the movie came out.
Now, hold on. Let's roll this back just a little bit, because I know that before the Love and Thunder one, there was one other one that kind of kicked this off. And which one was it? I mean, I should know because I have it, but was it no, I don't think it was. I think there was one before the Strange Popcorn Vessel.
This was the first one where they started doing.
Okay.
Because it was Multiverse of Madness, then it was Love and Thunder, then it was Wakanda Forever.
Right.
And so this was the first time they really did this for the Marvel movies.
Right. And where'd you get that one?
Some amazing person sent this to me.
I heard they're a real jerk, but okay.
Sometimes, but listen, they're a lot better now. They just came back from Disneyland, so. But honestly, like this is this. As much as this seems ridiculous, and I think some people the novelty wore off for me, this just filled a need. Now it would have been cooler if they would have had something like this at No Way Home, and this was the box that Doctor Strange was, fighting Spider-Man through. But they didn't have that stuff. We were just getting out of the pandemic. Now this is not new because they did popcorn buckets. They do popcorn buckets at the different amusement parks. So if you go to Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, if you go to Universal, you're going to see different popcorn buckets. But if you look, I mean, we've got from let me make sure I'm pointing in the right direction. You've got one from Fast and the Furious. This was from the One Piece Red that
Man,
came out in
I had
2022.
I had no idea there were so darn many.
Yep. So you had the devil fruit. This one, which is really cool, and this is one of my big regrets for not getting. If you went to Cinemark, and I'm gonna go ahead and give a bigger version. These are 3 popcorn buckets, and when you put them together, they
Oh,
they were
wow.
like a building, and they had all 3 of the Spider-Man characters. So you had the Miles character, you had the Gwen's character, you had the Spider-Man 2099, which was really cool when you saw it. But they were literally, I believe, like $50 each. So it got excessive.
You think then it got excessive?
Well,
Come
no, I
on.
mean, like, well, knowing me,
So
if I
would
would
you
have gotten the
say
one, I would have needed to get all of them. So it would have been $150 in one sitting.
now? Would you say timing wise, that's the one that was the first one that was excessive? It's hard to tell
Hmm.
because I can't remember the difference between Across the Multiverse and Guardians 3 because I feel like Guardians 3 for me was the one that I got to the price and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I hope that literally the price was so much. That was the point where I first said, man, I hope Tony got this one on his own because no.
Yeah. So for AMC, um, the Guardians of the Galaxy one was the worst of the set.
Hmm.
Typically the popcorn buckets were like $25.
Yeah.
But then
I mean, and you got popcorn. Let's not forget that, you know.
But then this guy right here. Now, the reason why I had to get this, despite how much it cost, it was $50, and then of course, like a month or so later, it went down in price.
Are you
Um,
kidding me? Don't tell me these
oh yeah,
things.
it was $24 by the last time that it was being sold on their website. And if you want to look and see what they have, because they do have stuff on like the AMC website, you go to AMC, go to the bottom, and you look for movie memorabilia. They usually have merchandise or movie merchandise, and you'll see some stuff. And usually the deals are on there. But they were doing things like they were having the popcorn buckets. They were doing collectible pins, and then specific like Funko like lounge fly bags that went
Hmm.
with the things. And this guy, as much as he's the most awkward of the set, and I really felt this because when I got this, of course, my son went to the premiere with me, and we both saw these on the tables at the after party. And this was the one thing that they had there that I wasn't able to just grab and kind of pocket and take with me because it's obviously big. Um, but he wanted one too, so we had to buy 2 of them. And it's a little bit much, but as a Guardians fan, and seeing this at the after party, I had to get it. And it's
Hmm.
not like I didn't get free stuff at the thing. We did like this really cool augmented reality
Excuse me.
picture. I got like 3 of the Alamo glass Guardians cups, which were really cool. And
That
they even matched the design of the wristbands that they gave us to get into the after party, which was really cool. Um, but yeah, I think the Guardians was the one that kind of went outrageous. Let me go ahead and pull this back up here real quick. So you had like I just pointed here, you had that one there. This one's pretty cool. This is a Cinemark. Well, let me point a little bit. This is a Cinemark. This was from Haunted Mansion. That's the Madame
oh,
Leola, which was really
Leota,
like that's a really
Madame
yeah.
Leota, my friend. Get
Okay,
it
so
right.
Leo, whatever. So Madame Leota, crystal ball popcorn bucket, which is pretty cool. This is more recent. The Minions, it's the Gru, the baby bag, like the baby strap, so that you wear it on the chest, so you can literally have your popcorn strapped to your chest. For anybody who's not a big guy like me, probably. And you could put your popcorn in it and ruin your day. The one above you to your left is the over. over other way. There you go. That one right there. That's the episode 1. I think that was the 30th anniversary that just came out
Oh,
back in April. It's a tin. It's a normal tin like the others. Then you have the one right above your head, which is you see that, and then the one next to it, it's the same thing. It's the blue beetle, the blue scarab,
oh,
for the blue beetle. And then of course we've got the one it's kind of being covered up with the Fandoms logo, which I can remove that right now.
oh yeah, the
And you can see
infamous.
the Dune bucket. There's also the Jigsaw bucket. There's a couple things there. My biggest regret beyond this one here is this one right here.
Which is?
This is a ghost trap. In fact, you know what's
Oh
funny? I
yeah.
can
Wait,
do
was that the
this.
one? Was that the one at AMC that I didn't get?
Yeah. It's the one
Yeah.
it was the one at AMC. There was actually 2 of them. There was one at Regal and there was one at AMC that you could get. Um, and the AMC one I think was a little bit bigger. It was a bigger bucket, but also the proton, like the beam was removable, so it could be a ghost trap. And we were on vacation at the time. This came out in March for Frozen Empire, and we didn't have time to go see the movie. But I was like, you know what I want to do? I got the money. Let's stop at an AMC near us in North Carolina and see if we can find one. And they were gone faster than I could have imagined.
That one I'm not surprised by, but do we know what the average price was on that sucker?
You know, I want to say it was $25.
Oh, no wonder that
Give me
one.
just a second.
Because I will tell you that one that I don't see pictured, although I will admit that the Wonka one shaped like his hat is clever. The one that's not really pictured, that was really the first one where I was in the theater, I saw it on the counter, and I'm like, you know what? Well, first of all, I was mad at it because it was kind of a spoiler. So I was aggravated by that. And then, it didn't really look all that good to me. And that was for the Marvels with the Flurkin eggs. That one,
Right.
I'm just like, this. I mean, honestly speaking, it looks like a tumor. So why? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and
I
you
don't think
had
so.
to have watched the movie to then want the popcorn bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course with the Flurkin egg, you also got a Flurkin inside, one of the Flurkin kittens, and it was random which one you got. So if you got the
Mm-hmm.
ultra rare gold one, which they're playing into the whole Funko Pop thing, which I think sometimes gets overplayed, is like we don't want random mystery boxes so much when it comes to what we're paying whatever for. Now the ghost trap was actually $40. It was $39.99.
Okay.
But another one that went really fast, and I was trying to get this one for my kid, was the Super Mario bucket. And that was only $14.99. You can see the price on the actual image that's below me, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, of course, the Batman cowl over here. You had Barbie, the Wonka hat. The Slimer that's below you was a Cinemark exclusive. And which
Mm-hmm.
is funny is we got the, because I know you have it too. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy with the rocket. But if you would have gone to Cinemark, it was literally a Groot with his hands out as he was the handle, and his hands made the popcorn bucket,
Oh, that's that. You see, that's a cool design.
which was really cool.
And
Which is
seems a
really
little more
cool.
practical. Can I just tell you one that actually I don't have in here that I should have got to show? So there was a certain point during my Disneyland vacation, because you mentioned the parks, right?
Mhm.
And my family was in California Adventure. For some reason, I can't remember what it was. I had to go back to the hotel. I think something was explicitly being delivered that we needed to get. Or I had
Okay.
ordered some groceries so we would have snacks or something. So I
Sure.
dashed back to as fast as I could with my hobbled feet to the Disneyland hotel.
Mhm.
And in the interim, while I was gone, it was just my wife and my daughter, them trying to stay out of the sun and the heat. But my kid wanted some popcorn. And what my wife got is also one of probably the most impractical concepts I've ever seen. It was the Mater popcorn bucket. So it has a strap so you could sling it over
Yeah.
your shoulder, but it's literally Mater the tow truck. And first of all, every bit of his towing equipment looks like you bump it against something, it's gonna break off. And there was literally a point while we were going through the parks where I think I offered to take it back to the hotel because my wife was at the point where she just wanted to abandon it instead of carrying it. And
Mhm.
which actually is the same thing, not a popcorn bucket, But the item that I did completely deny myself getting was the what is it called? The Infinity Nano Gauntlet,
Right.
I
Right.
think. That one I passed on because I didn't want to carry it around all day.
Yeah. It was funny because when Michael went to D23, he got one of those, and I don't think he ever used it afterward. Like, I would have it displayed, but if you're not going to want to walk around holding, it's like holding one of those Hulk fist props that I have one that's for the Red Sox, and you could put your drink inside the hand. It gets tiresome after a while because sometimes you don't want to just do that. You want to like kind of just put it down or put it in a bag or something, and it makes it really difficult.
Well, and you know, it's also like I said, it was just completely you know, impractical, and I literally thought to myself, well, you know what? I bet you if I really wanted something that is completely immobile finger wise, that is the Nano Infinity Gauntlet, I
Mhm.
could probably just easily 3D print that and not worry about it. So that was the other reason why I was able to walk away, because you know, a little bit of silver paint and some hot rod red, and your 3D print could be finished like that.
Exactly. And even with this upcoming popcorn bucket,
Yeah, baby.
there is a play. I didn't even realize that it was. I used my PNG image, so it's kind of like just sitting out there. There is people that are making versions that you can download,
Oh
and
yeah.
you can print it home. And
Hmm.
like what was the one you sent me a link?
Yeah, I sent you a
Um,
link, and you know, I'm not that we want to make it a plug, but the reason why I found this is because I am unsuccessfully finishing a Deadpool helmet, not a mask, but a helmet, and it all assembles together. And I
mhm.
went to the website because I was getting a new copy of the print, and I just so happened on their front landing page, the maker is it's Do 3D, so do3d.com, and if you're a maker, literally has models for almost every superhero you can think of that is derivative of this design that you see behind us. So you could
Oh wait,
literally make a popcorn bucket for almost any hero you wanted. Now, I will say though, uh, kind of in line with the Dune bucket, the one thing that I do like about this Deadpool and Wolverine bucket, other than its absolute absurdity, is that you know we've always seen pictures of it from that angle, but literally it's a bucket topper.
yeah,
So
and
the
it's facing
bucket,
up.
it has a separate bucket. So like the reason why I want to get it, Tony, in all honesty, because you know, I'm the guy that forever has had Iron Man and Spider-Man on my wall. After that popcorn bucket comes
Oh,
off the popcorn, it could go somewhere on the wall back here
and
very
it could look like a
easily.
mounted Wolverine head. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
you
gonna
know, I
have
have
to.
a
I'm
few
gonna
of
have to
them.
do that too. Yeah.
There you go.
Um, that's a great idea. Uh, mind you, I mean, you're also making the Deadpool mask, so that can go on your wall as well when you're done.
No, that
Because
one
like,
actually can't. I'll bore you with the details later, but the way that it articulates, I would have to have it on a shelf or something. So,
well, let
but
me
you
let
know,
me
I
just
could,
let me just throw this out there for you. You know those Marvel the Hasbro Legend helmets
yeah.
that basically look like they just sit on a shelf somewhere because it's just they're big and clunky. I want you to look it up. Look up motorcycle helmet mounts
Oh, there you go.
because I'll show it some other time. But I have the Iron Man, Star Lord, Black Panther, and Iron Spider helmets, and they are mounted above my little digital fireplace, and they're sitting there like mounted heads basically, and they look phenomenal. And so there is always the potential for doing that as well. So I'm just saying.
Hmm.
Um, but honorable mention, the last one, if you're looking, the bottom right hand corner of the screen. This is kind of funny because I could kick myself. When we were in Chicago for C2E2 for the first time in 2022, or no, 2023, um, we went the night we arrived in Chicago, which was probably dumb of us, but we went to the AMC. We're able to get that bucket itself, the D20 Dungeons and Dragons, dice bucket. I
Mm-hmm.
got it, and I sat there like, I don't do anything with Dungeons and Dragons. I've had no interest in Dungeons and Dragons.
Little did
Why
you
did I
know.
get this? So I ended up giving it to someone, and now I could kick myself
Now you're having
because of that.
regrets.
Oh yeah, absolutely regrets. But yeah, it was a cool bucket at the time, like the pops coming off. But the other thing was, it was hard to decide because what a lot of people don't realize is not only are they selling these buckets, but they're selling cups as well in some of these cases.
Oh.
And for the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, not only did they have the D20 popcorn bucket, but they also had like a little, like it was like a goblet, like a mug, like it looked like a wooden mug, and
Mm-hmm.
was very cool. And again, something that I let slip out of my fingers. I had the opportunity to get it. Thankfully, Derek Paperweight Entertainment was able to get one. But yeah,
Now,
it's like a missed opportunity there.
one of the ones that we didn't talk about that I wasn't even aware of. So for the Batman, they even did one.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
my! And that just lifted up and you ate it out of his head.
exactly.
Oh well, that's very similar to our Ant-Man ones. Which, by the way, I have to freely admit that while I was dusting it off and talking about Tony pre-show with it, I had absolutely no idea and realization because I was going to make a joke. I opened up.
Mhm.
Well, here. I opened up the top of it, and I was gonna make a joke, because we've all seen the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, and I was gonna make a joke and go like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a skull in here," and then I realized, wait, no, there's electronic son of a gun. I never knew when I got it that the eyes lit up in it. I still haven't even pulled the battery protection pad
Yeah, you can see it
yet.
on mine.
Ah, there you go. That's nice. And this one, like honestly speaking, is one of my favorites because at least it's a replication of something that you see on screen, and it's a fairly good rendition of the mask. So I thought this one was really cool. The Thor Love and Thunder, I'm glad you love it. I don't like it for its uh general structure. Well, that and the fact that I thought I had bought more than I had and technically gave mine away for a giveaway. And when you get the thing, it actually comes in a it came in a rectangular box, and then inside of the popcorn bucket was the handle. So you would have to attach the handle in, so that way then Jonathan has his handle and it looks like the
Mhm.
real thing stuck in rocks.
Right.
Once that handle goes in, it ain't coming out. Believe me, I've tried. So, I mean, again, it's a cool design, and honestly, for people that don't 3D print, and for people that want to have something that's movie replica laying around that they didn't have to spend a lot of money on, in that
Mhm.
respect, it's a great popcorn bucket, much like this one, which is why personally I'm disappointed in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness one and the Wakanda Forever one, because they
Oh yeah,
really are
yeah.
just like boxes or containers.
Yeah, so here's the Wakanda Forever. And I will say I do like this one. They did do, and you can see it has a little light
Yeah,
there
that
that
one I
kind of like
figured
it
out
does.
lit up. What's wrong with
Um,
me?
Regal did a version of this for Guardians of the Galaxy, which I didn't get. I kind of wish I would have because I don't know. I like this. It's still reminiscent of like the end game bucket where
Hmm.
it's the 10. And the fact that there's one that's shaped exactly like it for Guardians of the Galaxy, they could have stacked on top of each other. I do like the little window. I appreciated it. I understand why they did it though. Anything other than something like this for Wakanda Forever would have been a spoiler, because what would they have made that would have been a bucket other than Shuri's Black Panther helmet? And we weren't going to
Yeah.
get that until the end because she was refusing it throughout the movie.
Hmm.
So I get that. I completely understand. And then of course, like you were saying, I didn't get the Flurkin egg. I actually went to Cinemark and we got this one. I for whatever reason, I really liked this thing. It's got the S, it's the Marvel's logo. You can actually see the characters on the sides here, like their silhouettes. And of course, just like the other ones we were talking about, this one lights up, and it had an accompanying mug, which it looks pretty cool.
Hmm.
And I can't begrudge it. It's just the
You know,
Flurkin egg didn't make sense to me until after we watched the movie,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, that could have
And,
been a prop.
yeah, and again, that upset me because technically it was a spoiler before you even got into the film. What the heck, guys? Now, I think
Yeah.
the other thing that is very important to mention is that, with the exception of possibly the Mario Brothers one, well, actually, I would probably say the Mario Brothers one, the Wonka one, it doesn't matter. Anytime you buy these things, more
Mhm.
often than not, you're buying this vessel for popcorn, and they will give you instead then popcorn in a regular bucket because they know
Right.
people are buying these things not really to eat popcorn out of. So I think it's funny in a way that we refer to them as popcorn buckets or popcorn vessels, because it's like, not so sure, guys. Is it really that? Is that really what it is? Because we don't use it for that.
Exactly. Well, it's where you start looking, you think, okay, this is extremely impractical. Like you like the Ant-Man bucket, which I think is kind of funny, like seeing what we prefer versus the other. I loved the Jonathan one. I like that it's a 10. I like the Multiverse of Madness one because it's collapsible. So if you don't have a place for it, you can always put it away later. Because one of the things that I'm getting to the point where I realize I have to do is I have to start rotating my collection, because I'm running out of space. But the Ant-Man one, I remember getting it, and I got it because of course I'm a collector, and I'm a what's the best word? I have
Addict.
OCD and I have
The word is
Tourette's.
addict.
So I
We're
have I
addicts.
have things, and so yes, I'm addicted and I'm also compulsory. So for me, getting the bucket was necessary, but I was also very disappointed when I picked up that bucket because I felt like of all of the buckets we've had, whether you like them or not, that was the least quality bucket.
Oh,
Like
really?
it's made of a plastic. Be very careful. If anything dings that Ant-Man head, the gray paint on the bucket chips immediately.
Also, I have never used it when I was on with you before the show.
Mhm.
That was the first time I ever opened it, and now I feel like it just won't clasp back in right. So I would have to agree with you, but as a casual thing sitting on the shelf, it looks cool, just like the Jonathan popcorn bucket. By the way, that's the Mjolnir one, the Thor: Love and Thunder. If you guys don't know, just Google Paul Rudd and Mjolnir, and you'll see it.
Yeah.
So,
Um
go ahead.
no, but I feel like one of the big things, regardless of inconsistent pricing and then on top of that is like the quality issues, is just that there's no rhyme or reason. I think sometimes like let's face it, the Mario one below me, the reason why it sold out so quickly was because it was cheap and it made sense. Because even if you use it as a popcorn bucket, even if you do whatever, it was a PAL box. I mean, this was it was a mystery box that's you could have it, you could screw it into the wall and make some fake bricks around it, and it would absolutely make perfect sense. You know, hold on a second.
I'm not sure about your choice of terminology there, but yeah, I mean that is that is something that had I known about it, I would have been extremely interested in picking it up. But again, I just like you, I have too much already. I already don't have enough space, and I don't have
Mhm.
anywhere else in my house that I would be able to display these things. So, I have to be choosy. But I think that maybe for the I wouldn't say the collectability, but I would definitely say for the capturing of the zeitgeist in a
Mhm.
way, I wish I had got the Dune popcorn bucket, the sandworm popcorn bucket, because I think we can agree out of
Yeah.
all of them, that one is the most impractical and filthy looking concept bucket that we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's cultural memorabilia, and it's for the sheer inappropriateness of it, what makes it interesting. And it's
And,
just how it
and
is.
and by the way, I've just been like casually perusing while you mentioned it, and sure enough, you can, shop products via the AMC website. Like right now, for example, if you didn't get it for $29.99, you could get the Mega Mel popcorn container. I guess within the movie, one of the minions gets really, really big, and
Mhm.
you can get that popcorn bucket, and that's the one where it's the design, and there's a fold down panel in the back to quote unquote eat the popcorn out of, which nobody's putting popcorn in. And I don't blame them, because the last thing I want to do is put my popcorn inside of some piece of metal or plastic. And I don't want to be eating popcorn out of the backside of something. So
Yeah. Or as he calls it, the flesh colored garbage disposal.
yeah, no, look. I think it may have been you actually that advised me that when everybody saw that thing, they had an exact idea about what it looked like and what would
Mm-hmm.
potentially happen. And there were people on different types of oriented sites that took advantage of that. So, yeah, but I still, the thing about that versus what will be the infamous uh, Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket is that one was intentionally designed that way.
Exactly.
It was intended to be as suggestive as it was. The
Right.
Dune popcorn bucket, I truly believe somebody came up with an idea. It went through executive research and decision and approval,
Mm-hmm.
and they really thought they had something without knowing what they were creating. I firmly believe that. It's just one of those things like you look at it and you go, this is a representation of corporate America at its finest, because how did this actually get made? Who actually approved this? I still am baffled by that one, just purely. But like I said, I
Yeah.
never knew about the Wonka one, but that one looks good. The Barbie one makes complete sense. The Slimer one is just hilarious.
That would be
So
fun to have on a wall. Like, and again,
exactly.
like, so I think this one here is the Regal Cinema one. The AMC specifically being $40. That whole blue translucent piece was bigger, so it held up like a large popcorn. But you could lift it up and remove it from the ghost trap, and the ghost trap would close up. It's a perfect prop. I promise you, there's probably somebody who has this bucket here, or the AMC bucket version of this bucket, and they're going to go to a convention and it's going to be dangling from their belt while they're dressed up as a Ghostbuster. That makes perfect sense.
Quick, easy,
Mhm.
affordable. I don't even, do we even have an idea at this point what the price point is going to be for the Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket?
Well, let's go ahead, and while we're sitting here, let me look up and see.
Thank you for watching. Please stand by. Please hold for a
Let's
moment while we gather
see.
information.
So the Dune 2 popcorn bucket
Yes.
costs $24.99.
That is $23.99, too damn much.
And let's see. There is not.
So I think what we should do
The novelty
then,
buckets priced between $25 and $50. So they're only giving an idea that it could be within that range.
if they want to see these things move, I certainly hope that what they do instead is that they put it at a price point no greater than $29.99, because it's the type of thing where you want everybody to try and get it, as long as they don't undercut you getting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the key.
Just checking one more place.
See, I put this bug in your ear and now you can't let it go.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is what kind of like I know is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that AMC is doing a popcorn bucket of Wolverine with his mouth open up. That's where you get the popcorn. Cinemark put out an unveil, and what it looks like is it might be a more screen accurate Wolverine head for their popcorn bucket. Like it's the whole head with the full fins, and like the back is yellow. Regal put out a popcorn bucket teaser, and the best I could tell you is it almost looked like Cherry from Pee-wee's Playhouse. It looked like a chair of some sort. I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to be like TVA related. So yeah, I don't know. I just I'm afraid that I'm going to buy the one at AMC and then go to the Regal and be like, I'm going to get that one too. So we'll see. Friday
And
will
by
be the
and by
teller.
the way, Tony, if you were one of the people that listened to me and took advantage of, and it's not popcorn bucket related, but there was the Fandango Deadpool and Wolverine package where you get a digital download.
Mhm.
They made sure to also send you in advance of the film the best friends necklace, and you had a chance to win tickets to the movie premiere. So if you were one of the people that listened to me when that package came out, uh, my condolences that you too did not win the trip to the premiere, because clearly
Right.
I haven't, being that today is the 19th. So, oh well.
Yeah, they normally but it was also funny because like we talk about premieres, they normally don't let people know that they're invited to the premiere until a week before, and we're past that point now.
Yeah.
So because it's going to be happening, which is interesting, 3 o'clock your time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on the 22nd. So it may, mind you, that's 6 o'clock my time, but
Yeah, but that's just the
um
day before, right?
well,
No.
the
No, no,
22nd. So
no.
it doesn't. Yeah, that's
That's
Tuesday the
4 days in
22nd.
advance.
And then technically the film doesn't come out till the 26th, but of course it's going to be coming out the evening of the 25th.
Why,
So
look, I don't mean to criticize, but why do they still refer to the official release date? Because like just like the popcorn buckets have evolved and been an interesting market that we don't understand. It used to be that what they would do is it was midnight showing. So technically it was still the date. So if this
mhm,
were 7 years ago and this movie were coming out oddly in front of some of the other films, that's weird. Uh there would be a movie screening like around midnight. And then it started moving back to 10 p.m. the night before. Then it started moving back to 8 p.m. the night before my time. And so much so that I think the first screening that's available in my area, and also Kai, who sat in on the Deadpool and Wolverine as well, pointed out like 3 p.m. showings the day before. Why do they have the audacity to say that the movie premieres or is in theaters July 26th when technically it's in theaters July 25th everywhere?
I don't know the reasoning behind it
What is
anymore.
going on?
It doesn't make sense. See, and it's also sad because there were 2 days. There were two things that you always knew when it came to be if you were a movie fan. It was the midnight premieres on the day before, which
Hmm.
that was that. I mean, it was the 20. It was still the day of because it was a midnight premiere. And then there was, if you were a physical media fan, then it was also the Tuesday, new DVD Blu-ray releases. Like those were the 2 days that if you're a movie fan, you look forward to stuff because
Hmm.
that was just how things were. Because if you wanted to go, and this is really dating us back now at this point, if you wanted to go to Blockbuster and you wanted to rent the new movie that came out, you better get your butt there on Tuesday. Because I promise you, when you go there on Friday afternoon, when you get out of school or whatever else, it's not going to be there. It
Tony,
wasn't going to happen.
I remember being a teenager, whoa, way back in the day of the 80s, my friend. And I remember going to, like at the time, Blockbuster wasn't even a thing. I think that it may have been, doesn't matter. It was some actually record
For
chain, and they, go ahead.
before it was Blockbuster. I don't know if you had this, but it was Errol's for me.
No, no, it wasn't even that. It
Okay.
was tiny shops, and then for me, it was like one of the major record stores had a movie renting division in the back, and I remember going there when the store would open and stalking the returns to try and get the movie I was waiting for before even the concept of waiting lists had come out. So yeah, I can definitely empathize with that. And yes,
Oh
that's
yeah.
how little of a life I had. I would have my mom drop me off at a video rental place, and I would be waiting there until I could get the movie I wanted.
Oh no, no, I completely. And it was funny because it was VHS. There were some rental places that had Betamax for those of
Mhm.
us who had a Betamax player for like that 5 days it was there.
Yeah.
And
Better
and
quality.
and every so often you had to worry because the tracking got messed up because somebody didn't rewind it properly because be kind, rewind. And then it got worse with DVDs. I don't know what it was. This is a weird topic to get on because we could have a full physical media like discussion too, which that needs to happen down the road soon. But I hated the DVD era for Blockbuster because it always seemed like they came back scratched.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd rent the movie because you couldn't look at it until you rented it. You get home, it'd be working fine. Then all of a sudden, I remember this happened with Batman Begins. First technical date with my wife. We had the her family, some of her family over, and we were watching Batman Begins. And I had rented it. We went to the store. You know, we got the movie, and right as Batman is going at Scarecrow, where he's gotten the toxin, or he gave Scarecrow the toxin, the movie started skipping, and it was frustrating. And I'm, again, OCD, so I had to go back to the store, and then it was everything. All the copies were sold out. So yeah, we ended up watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to my chagrin. So
yeah, we definitely have to have a physical media conversation soon, because I'm still one of the people that, even if I'm going to get a digital copy, to this day, even though I think I'm with the Sony PlayStation that I got, the latest one. God, I use it so little I can't even remember the number of it. But that one, okay, the PlayStation 5 is a 4K video player. So
right.
that was the format that I was building up towards, always getting at a minimum the Blu-ray that included the 4K version.
Mhm.
So, I built up my physical library for that. And honestly speaking, before we converted to having an unlimited bandwidth here at the house, because with 4 people online, that was the only way to go. I would still defer to physical media over streaming. And in many cases, the compression that you get for streaming is still not as good as the quality that you would get from physical media. None of that's important right now, though. We're talking about popcorn buckets as we wrap up here. So, Tony, I guess my question to you is, before we get our hands on this Deadpool and Wolverine bucket, out of all of the popcorn buckets that you have bought or seen, what is the one that is your favorite?
Oh, that's hard. If we're talking specifically movie theater popcorn buckets,
Mm-hmm.
um, can I do two? Would you let me do two?
Give me
Because it's hard for me to pick even.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
hard for me to choose one of the two. And again, it's because of nostalgia of what happened. The Rocket Raccoon box, Guardians of the Galaxy, is close to my heart because as soon as I went to the after party of the premiere, I wanted that bucket. I wanted to take that bucket home with me, and I was so glad when I realized it was the AMC bucket. And then the other one, my dear friend, is the one that you got me.
Okay.
Because I don't know why. It's simple. It's fun. I don't know if you try to put a light under this thing, but it actually does it pops. And it's one of those things where I look at it, and every time I look on my shelf, I'm still thankful I've got this. And that's just me. I other than that, I really don't feel like we've really broken into something that's just like really like out of this world, really cool. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's been some that have been close when it comes to what you're looking around right here. Um, like if I was really big into the Fast and Furious franchise, this would still be a cool bucket because even when it's not a bucket, it's literally just the car. And then this one right here, if I would have gotten this, I think this would have probably been my favorite
Yeah, but see,
because I love ghost traps.
but you
I
got a
don't know what it
3D
is.
printer. I'm sure you could print one. And just a
Listen,
little bit
I
of
probably
paint.
could look. I could probably look in some of my storage. I think I still have the real Ghostbusters. I would think it was Mattel toy ghost trap that had the air pump on the foot thing. So when you push the pedal, it'll push the doors open with air.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that thing to death. But I don't know. I know I could do 3D printing, but it's just nice to see something that's put together in metal and kind of looks neat and lights up, and that I don't have to do any work for.
Yeah. And I got to be clear. I really think that my favorite one is the Ant-Man one. And I can attest to that because I'm looking at my closet right now. The Wakanda Forever one is on an upper shelf there, holding a bunch of 3D printed lightsabers inside of it. I don't even know
Mhm.
where my Doctor Strange one is. So really getting these things is extremely impractical for me. And also
Yeah.
I really think that we got to calm down. We really do with these things. But the other question I have for you,
Mhm.
okay? What do we think is going to happen with Captain America 4? What would be the popcorn vessel for that? Knowing nothing about the movie, mind you, what would it be? I would hope it would be something Shield oriented. And I don't mean the
Uh,
agency, I mean his
possibly,
Shield.
possibly. I would be honest with you. I don't talk much about Captain America 4 because of some socio-political stuff. But if we're talking about this, and of course, this is part on topic. Um, I probably think it's going to be the worst possible bucket, and it's going to be like a Red Hulk fist
Oh,
holding the bucket.
gosh darn
I,
it, you're
I, I,
probably right.
I'm, I just, yeah, either that or
Oh, it'd probably be the red fist hold. You know what? How much you want to bet they go with something that's right in line with part of the mold from the Love and Thunder one? Because it's the Hulk hand gripping the shield that's embedded in rock or earth.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be that, but no, the shield would be too flimsy. You're right. It's probably just Hulk hands. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's going to be the Hulk hand.
fair enough.
Or at least that's what they're going to have that for the drinking cup, and they may do something Shield related for the thing. The only other thing I could think would be really cool is if it was Sam Wilson, like if they went really elaborate, and this would be like in the $50 range. If it's like Sam Wilson standing and the wings kind of curl to make the bucket,
Oh, that would be good.
and you have the shield in front,
You know,
like I could see that being a cool bucket.
speaking of which, what do you think about the fact that we've so quickly had a costume change for our new Captain America from the TV
I'll be
show
honest,
into the movies?
I hate it. I mean, it's more comic booky, but I really loved the Falcon and Winter Soldier Captain America suit. Like I
I,
really loved it.
I really
And what do
think
you
that
do for a costume change after Wakanda makes you a suit? Like, come on.
I'll tell you why. It's because they realized there weren't as many people moving in and out of the shows to the movies. And they're like, the audience isn't going to understand what's going on. Let's give them one that's a little more Cap like. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Lazy
Yeah.
bastards.
Well, it's crazy because I thought that the ending of Falcon Winter Soldier was one of the best suits. Now I get where they might be going. And this is the most speculation you'll hear me talking about this movie. I do believe that they probably went that route. Also for the fact of that we see Ross asking for him to be an official title, and
Mhm.
in the comic book, Sam Wilson turns away from America. He's not endorsed by America, and he's basically a free agent. And so it's like the nation versus Captain America, and he does that because he decides to do the right thing versus do the governmental corporate type thing.
What's
So
interesting too that I also just realized, I think the other reason why they did a costume change is because they didn't want to have to do all of the extra visual effects touching up of the costume. Because if you watch the behind the scenes, when he's
mhm,
moving around, it looks very tailored and held in, but the
mhm.
practical suit was like flaring out around here. So that's probably it. But
Yeah,
maybe they don't even consider that, considering how much they had to remove Paul Bettany's ears. Who knows? Not for that movie, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Well, Tony, this was a great discussion, man. I had a good time talking about these here buckets. I never knew about the Dungeons and Dragons one, and I'm sorry to see you didn't keep that.
yeah.
Also, if it's any consolation, even if you'd been able to make off with the AMC bucket from the premiere, how were you going to get it home? Right? Think about it.
Well,
Oh,
well,
oh,
when we went to Chicago at
yeah,
that time, we
yeah.
weren't flying. I flew this year. That year, Mickey, cell phone wallet keys, my wife and I drove up. We rented a car and we drove up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was much easier because I had a rental car scheduled to come. I picked it up, we loaded the car, and we drove back home. It was just a lot faster to fly this time, especially when I was by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still,
So
imagine trying to package that bucket into your existing luggage that you probably already had stuffed to the max.
but at the same time, I did come back with a little bit. Well, let's face it, we had a booth there that year, and so I was already coming with like the retractable sign and like the backdrop, and we had more stuff. But we had rented a car that had plenty of room, so it wasn't like a how am I going to get this home like type situation like it would be for this year at Chicago. But the way I planned it
Oh
at
no, no,
Chicago
I'm
this year.
sorry. I understand the disconnect. I'm talking about the Guardians bucket. How would you have gotten that home?
Oh. Mm.
Because, you know, well, but that's under the assumption that you're like me and you go for the most practical way to travel, which is strictly carry on. So that way you're not a
So
sucker that has to wait to that carousel.
so maybe this is a good hint. Like what we typically do if we know we're going to go somewhere and we want to try to bring stuff back with us, we will pack the most impractical way going there, so that
Ah.
when if we pack practically coming back, we have lots of more room. Like let's say this for Chicago, I flew out. I had two checked bags with my ticket. One of those bags was just an air mattress
Yeah.
because we were sharing the hotel room. And what happened was Derek was with us, and I said, "Hey, Derek, I'm gonna be flying out with an air mattress I got for $12. Um, you're driving? Would you like an air mattress?" He said, "I have lots of kids. That would work perfectly." So when I came back, I had a whole bag that was empty
Oh,
that I
nice. There you
just
go.
filled
You
with
could have just
stuff. Like I brought
loaded
a
it up.
statue and everything home. Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant. Yeah.
yeah.
Not that it matters, but when we got upgraded at the hotel for my daughter's dance competition a couple weeks ago in San Diego, we they said, "Oh, you know, instead of two queens, we can only do a king, but we'll send up one of those rollaways." Little did they tell me when I phoned down about it that it was going to be $45 a day, and we still had 3 or 4 more days left. And I looked at $45 a day versus a $30 air mattress. Guess which way won? And I was at Target within 2 hours. So I
Hmm.
totally get that.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I like Z, like you said. In short, maximum effort. That's just how it is.
Very good.
So,
And
yep.
and so what's the I got to ask you, Tony, what's the plan? We got Deadpool and Wolverine dropping next week. What are your podcasting plans around
Okay.
this?
So Wednesday of next week, we're gonna do a recap of all of what we've been watching for the last couple weeks leading up to all of the Fox Marvel properties. Kind of do like a trivia, kind of just make it fun. It would probably be a little bit brief. We're not going to go into speculation. We're not going to go into spoilers or anything like that. For the sake of anybody who is trying to be spoiler free, we want you to watch us. Thursday night, I go see the film. We are not doing a Friday episode because we're going to stick with it every other Friday. But the following week, Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
night at 8 o'clock, that way everyone's had a chance to watch the film that's going to,
Mm-hmm.
be a part of it. Because Will, you're still doing it on Sunday, which more
Hey,
power to
hey,
you.
leave
Thoughts
my
and prayers,
personal
man.
life out of this, buddy.
Thoughts and prayers. But that way, Wednesday, everybody who would like to be a part of the conversation will have had a chance to watch it. And then we can just get everyone hyped up to go and see this film, because this success is not going to be from opening night or opening weekend. The success from this film is going to be if it continues hitting numbers every week following for a good long while. We want to show that some things like this can be successful. And if they made a good film, let's show the support. If it didn't make a good film, well, we'll know by the budget. We'll know by the box office. So yeah, that's the plan at this point. But yeah, yeah. Anything you want to add to it, Will?
No, man, I'm just looking, and I'm not kidding you right now. Hold on. Wow, there are still tickets for there's a quaint movie theater, a small privately owned movie theater in downtown Brentwood where I live.
Mhm.
And it looks like they do still have tickets for Thursday. And I'm just thinking before I'm like, oh no, we can't do it, because now I'm questioning if we could potentially get my mother-in-law to babysit and go early and then just go again on Sunday, because I have full confidence. I'm willing to put my wallet on the line that this movie is going to be so good, I am going to immediately want to see it again. I may end up putting my wallet on the line for that,
Mm,
especially since the 3 p.m. showing still has seats available, which I'm not surprised about, because 3 p.m. showing, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
right.
Anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, great. Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Hope to participate as much as possible. And thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everybody that's been with us, thank you so much for commenting. I try to throw up as many as I can. But again, just check us out Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. We're gonna be talking, doing trivia and everything from X-Men to Deadpool 2. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to make these some good questions. The points mean nothing. just like my pay. And so we're gonna go ahead and have that fun. But with that said, you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope that you have a great Deadpool Wolverine